Hey everyone, welcome back to another Stock Market Open Live. Today's Alpha Report, you should, MailChimp says they fixed the texting. Hopefully you got your text, and then hopefully you got your email for the Alpha Report. If you didn't, I went ahead and published it, totally for free over at ehack.com. So if you just go to ehack.com, you can grab it until we figure out exactly the logistics for everybody getting it. But check that out and see what you think about the alpha report. Yeah, again, ehack.com. Just click right here and you'll get the little alpha report. And if you want to sign up for the alpha report, make sure to go to meetkevin.com/alpha. I sent it at 5:41 this morning. Wrong one. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, all right.
All right, there we go. Okay, all right. So in case you just didn't like hearing the audio on the last one there, as we get started there, ehack.com has today's alpha report. Go to ehack.com, you'll see it. But I'm not going to post it there every single day. Make sure you're a part of the meetkevin.com/alpha group. It's totally free at this point. All right, let's take a look at what our market's doing. So we got Tesla up 7%. What's remarkable is I had a line drawn at 347, and look at where the ceiling is. This is the 2-minute chart right here. Look at this. You literally went line to line, which is pretty remarkable here in the pre-market. So incredible enthusiasm for a Tesla, as well as Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a fantastic weekend. Broke 80,000. Now it's kind of getting stuck around 82K. And I noticed the Qs gave up a little bit of their enthusiasm here in the pre-market. So I'm curious to see if the Qs are going to hold on. I will say another one that's running is Robinhood. So watch this. 3524 is next over here on Robinhood. Going to be watching this. Palantir breaking 60, which is incredible. You've got DJT getting rejected again at 35.35. It is here all the freaking time. And Apple's down, Google slightly. I mean, most of the other stocks are relatively mixed. Slightly up, slightly down. Kind of see how the day plays out once the market opens up. And I know in last week's Alpha report, I just briefly mentioned here Fannie Freddie. There are a lot of people speculating on these, and these have extremely low float. And one of the reasons I brought it up is because it was up like 20% one of these days or whatever. It was sort of this big candlestick, I think, is when we talked about it. But what you're finding is speculation that these might exit conservatorship, and that could lead to actually profits showing up. I think that'll be really interesting. Okay, good. So stock market is open today. Yes, stock market's open today. And then you've got, let's see, the bond market is closed today. And yeah, no, people don't like it when I start with the AirPods. It's such a bad ad for the AirPods when I start with the AirPods in. I don't know. People freak out at the AirPod quality relative to the shotgun mic. But anyway, let's see how the day goes today and what kind of trades. Another one that's got some solid momentum here. A lot of momentum is SoFi. But see the Alpha report. This morning I put a bunch of volatility updates as well in the Alpha report, so check that out. Oh yeah, Coin's also running like crazy. Did you know Coin right now is sitting at like a 6 peg? It's crazy. Yeah, that's because it's sitting at like 310, 320 this morning. It's insane. Like the valuations are kooky right now. Tesla, Palantir, Coin, the valuations are totally euphoric and insane, and not derived from fundamentals at all. But I mean, milk it. Go make some money. Trade it. Hold it. Take profit. Sell calls. Sell puts. Heck, some people are just buying calls because it keeps going up, some of these. Obviously, we know it won't last forever, but milk it while you can. It's fantastic. And the more people make money, the better. The more money you make out there in the market, the more you can insulate yourself in the event of job loss or some form of market condition that causes problems, or whatever. So this is something to pay attention to. Oh yeah, I wanted to see what is Palantir sitting at right now from a fundy POV. So, yeah, Palantir 38 cents. It's at $60. So 60 divided by 38 cents of EPS. It's trading for 157 PE. And it's trading there with probably about a 23% growth level. That's about a 6.8 peg. Yeah. And if I use my growth rate for Palantir, which is higher, my growth rate for Palantir puts them around 28% on EPS. It's trading for just a cheap 5.4 peg. Hey, well, like I say, milk it. Go make some money and enjoy it while it's running. Okay, good. So then let's take a peek here. Today's Veterans Day, so again, that means the bond market is closed. It's also a banking holiday. And that does mean, like, if you're looking to transfer or settle transactions or whatever, it's just not going to happen right now. So let's see what else we have here. Okay, Bitcoin. Look at this breakout. So, somebody's asking, what about Enphase? Enphase, what's cool about Enphase is, I don't know when, but I think they're getting close to a bottom, which I think is pretty exciting. I'm not sure yet, though, because I think what'll happen is as you get accused oopsie doopsies, you are going to be in a position of Enphase potentially getting into the 50s. And yeah, that's could be a nice buying opportunity. I remember during COVID, it was I think Hindenburg shorted it down into the 30s or something. It's pretty remarkable how low it got there. Pretty bad. Okay. So what else do we have here? Okay. Somebody here in the chat says stocks only go, or what is this? Stocks never go down, long calls only. There you go. Okay, so somebody says the suit is legit. This is my double-breasted. I gotta get tailored again a little bit, but I like it. It's pretty cool. Thank you. All right, so going into the trading day. Let's see here. So we're only about 7 minutes away from the opening bell. You do have CPI tomorrow. So make sure to come to the CPI meeting tomorrow. That'll be really fun. So we'll actually we'll be streaming earlier, probably on the main channel, because we'll be looking at 5.3-ish. Not 5.3. 5:30 in the morning. We'll be looking at CPI data coming in at about. Let me get the actual number here. The big one we're looking for is that core number. And the estimates are sitting around 2.9 for that. Well, 0.29. So, and we'll get 0.28. Yeah, 0.28. So we'll see how that comes in tomorrow. Could hit bonds, unfortunately. And if you hit bonds, it's going to sort of put another boot on the neck of that one, I guess, huh? CPI is went. Oh, did I screw that up? I thought it was tomorrow. The third. Oh, you're right, because today's Veterans Day, everything got shifted. Oopsies! Yep, 1 day off. So CPI, my bad. Ah, how interesting. Yeah, there's no catalyst today, so I'm 1 day off on all those catalysts. Dang it. All right, oh well. So that actually means Tuesday is Small Biz Optimism. Oh, yeah. I thought today was the 12th. That's funny. No, it's 11/11. So the 12th is Small Business Optimism. The 13th on Wednesday is CPI. Thursday is PPI. And then, we'll get retail sales on Friday. Yeah. As far as Alpha Report, the text went out at 5:40. So hopefully you got it. And then you've got the emails went out around 5:42. As far as, back to BTC. Well, BTC was hitting lower highs and lower lows, and you were sort of in this down channel, quite frankly, for like 7 months. I mean, you were in a down channel for 7 months on Bitcoin. And then you've got this breakout basically on election, which is the perfect technical breakup. And your next stop really isn't until like 102. At least that's where I have it right now. Okay, so it looks like some of you got the text, some of you didn't. Somebody says did not get the text. Somebody here says I got it at 5:45. So this is why I'm sending it as an email and a text. They said they fixed the problem and that they'd get the text out quickly. Somebody says make sure to check the spam folder and text. There's a spam folder and text? I didn't know that. How do you even go to that? Oh, I don't have a spam folder and text. On an iPhone? Does that exist? That's interesting. Oh, you could have on filter unknown. I see. Yeah, no, but I guess maybe you have to add it as contacts. Huh. Weird. All right. So, let's see here. All right. Okay, then we've got, what else do we have here? Somebody says I got a text at 44. Oh, that's pretty good. You got both. Okay, good. That's good. All right, so it looks like a lot of you did. You did get some goodies. Oh, by the way, I made an email now for, this is just specifically if you have news to send us, so not like any kind of support or help request or whatever. But if you want to send things for me to react to, like, I don't know, TikTok clips, news articles, videos, ideas, whatever you got, send it over to news@meetkevin.com. I'm going to put that in the little banner down below. I think that's, and then we'll put, want to share news with Kevin, send to news@meetkevin.com. I think that'll be useful, and then that way I can, you know, if there's something you want to send, you can check that out. All right, so let's see here. Nvidia's up about 75 bips going into the day. Coin dropping a little bit going into open here. Okay. Then you've got Enphase dropping again, also into the open. A little bit of red going into the open there. I'm very curious to see how Tesla behaves around this line here. You know, is it going to be able to break through this? Because I think this is your next stop before 400. Which I think is just all times. 414. All-time highs. So, I mean, you got some movement to make there. But Hims is doing well going into the open. Palantir, SoFi, Hood's just killing it too going into the open. So let's see what happens here. Kind of excited. And good luck if you're trading. Good luck if you're looking to buy the dip because there's no dip. Yeah, enjoy your trading day. Enjoy your day. Alrighty, let's get the bell.
Let's get set for the opening bell here in the CNBC Real-Time Exchange. At the big board, it is members of the United States Navy on the USS John Basilone, the Navy's newest warship, honoring Veterans Day. And at the NASDAQ, it's Thayer Leadership and Chief Executive Group presenting their annual Patriots.
That's kind of cool how they brought the bell out there. I feel like they overlaid the audio from the actual exchange because, yeah, I don't think we heard the audio out there. Also looks pretty freaking windy over there. Oh, I just realized we weren't streaming on Twitter and Twitch. Oops. Oh, well. I'll have to do that tomorrow. So, okay, let's take a peek at how some things are moving at the open here. So getting a little bit of what looks like a rejection over there on Tesla at the line. It's right at a line, though, so it's understandable. Qs also. Okay, let's see the directionality here. Right now, it feels like potentially getting a little bit of some downers here. Okay. Then, what else here? Okay, still sitting at slightly down there on Tesla. Enphase now down 2%. The Qs are holding up, though. Let's see what they're saying on Symbiosis.
Maybe pushed to do that in some way in terms of, hey, all those CPUs you have, you're better off, and the power deals that you have, let's move that to being useful for the hyperscalers. So
an added benefit.
It's been a small group, but it's one that it bears watching as well.
I think Tesla, too, we should just hit because it's at the top of the market again, up 7.25%. Obviously, the Elon Musk bet on Trump winning and paying off, as Carl mentioned.
Getting a green candle now on Tesla. Here we go. Can it push through?
With Trump's granddaughter on the golf course. But as far as what does it mean for the stock, Dan Ives of Wedbush took up the price target another $100 today to $400 target, saying there's a $1 trillion opportunity here in self-driving, and he thinks the regulatory agenda will move in his favor because Musk will have influence over that. And he sees that obviously as a big upside and sees the timeline coming forward as well for when Tesla is going to realize that sort of robo-taxi dream. Again, $1 trillion market. He also he sort of buried in the bottom of the note, which I think was interesting, that he thinks that China, on the China tariff front, both Tesla and Apple will have some sort of carve out, which I do think will be interesting to note. Apple is worth watching as well on this Trump trade. I mean, most of the Apple products are manufactured in China. Yes, they've been trying to diversify into places like India, but according to a note I read over the weekend, they're only 14% there in India. They want to get to 25% by 2028. But China tariffs is obviously going to be a huge issue when it comes to consumer electronics. It's why Best Buy has been underperforming, for instance, in this Trump trade as well.
Elon's net worth is hit heights never seen before on the planet by any individual. And I continue to bring this up, I know, but I don't believe it's included in the
big candle there, green candle on Tesla.
Sizable options under the 2018 compensation package. They're
huge green candle on Tesla.
304 million options, and he's
Q's just popped too. Everything just popped green
from the chancellor in Delaware. But add that, and he's Carl. I mean, he could be approaching $400 billion in net worth.
We've talked about world's first trillionaire. Who has a better shot at it than Elon? Some reports today, TechCrunch is one example of how, to the degree he is rolled into a government advisory role, it'll be structured so he does retain his ownership of Tesla, of XAI. Probably not a surprise there.
And nobody's expecting necessarily a cabinet position, more of an advisory role. For instance, I do think I've been watching him on X weigh in on things like recess appointments, which is a hot topic after President-elect Trump has called for that, just to get these appointments in faster rather than going through the process for the Senate. He's weighed in on who's Senate leader.
Bitcoin just took off like $600 there too. Everything just went popped green, except for Enphase down another 3%. Tesla now 8.5%.
And he runs, or at least oversees, SpaceX, and he tweets or posts hundreds of times a day, and
yeah, he does.
And then he's got a number of other companies, whether it's Neuralink or the Boring Company. I'm not quite sure how he manages to find the time, but apparently he does.
Financials are at the top of the market, guys, again, along with consumer discretionary, thank you to Tesla. But financials up another 1% on this idea. You know, we talked about deregulation. It is worth mentioning also on Basel III Endgame, because this is the sort of topic du jour when it comes to bank regulation. And the expectation, according to some of the research notes now, is that it will be punted. It will be delayed even further. We already got more favorable terms in the last proposal, a 9% increase in capital versus the original 19% increase in capital. Will that come down even further in a more friendly, regulatory, Republican-led administration, or will it just be delayed further? That's something that I think a lot of bank investors are clearly looking forward to, and perhaps that was a bit of an overhang.
The Fed obviously playing an important role in that. I'm curious, Sarah, to get your reaction to some of the reported back and forth, at least, or the preparations that Fed Chair Powell may make for President-elect Trump pressuring him to leave the job and things of that nature. What's your take?
He was so defiant on this issue in the news conference, almost went out of his way to be defiant, and I think it highlights that Fed Chair Powell, and this is something I've heard from the Fed as well, they don't think President Trump will have a path to eliminate him legally as Fed Chair.
I disagree with that. I actually think they totally can get rid of him, because all Trump has to do is say he's, derelict in his duties. Boom, done. Nvidia just went red. Tesla's holding on to about 7.6. The Qs are struggling a bit. You're kind of bouncing around a little here. A little bit of a struggle. You're still around 20 bips positive though. And it keeps trying to push up. But let's see what direction it goes here. Oh yeah, still pushing up. Bitcoin 82.4.
And he had an opportunity in the last meeting to, hint more at a pause because the economy is so strong. He didn't necessarily do that. And even over the weekend, we heard from Neil Kashkari, Minneapolis Fed president. He was speaking on CBS, and he also insinuated that their next move is likely to be another cut. Listen.
The expectation is that we would do another interest rate cut in December. We need to actually see what the data looks like before reaching any conclusions. That's 6 weeks from now. But I think another rate cut is certainly possible. But ultimately, if the economy continues to perform well, a strong economy, a strong labor market, that's the outcome that we're all trying to achieve. And I don't think that that's a partisan view. I think everybody's on board with trying to achieve that.
So, guys, we're going to get CPI and PPI this week. And that'll be important inputs into the Fed's thinking around December and the path from here. I would just note what's happened in the last few weeks is higher for longer has been the trade in the markets, and the equity market is in line with that so far. We've priced out a lot of rate cuts into next year on this idea that the growth outlook has really improved, and possibly inflation expectations too. And that's where the Fed chair could run into trouble with President-elect Trump. If we do sort of see a spurt of inflation, or inflation expectations get to be more worrisome levels and they stop cutting rates, then what? Because we know President Trump likes a weak dollar and lower Treasury yields.
Dollar index approaching 105.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting too, because you've even seen, I think Elon, you saw Elon and Vivek, both of them actually come out in sort of support of this idea of the Fed's made mistakes, we got to deal with the Fed. And so it's very interesting. Okay, so very good. Let's actually take a peek at some sticks now. I wanted to hear some of their opening commentary. The Qs have now lost the 20 basis point positioning they were in. You're now sitting at, what do we got here? You're sitting at just 10 basis points, selling down a little bit on the Qs. You've got Nvidia down about 44 basis points. I've got Coinbase. Coinbase is still rocketing 15%, which is really impressive. I do have a stop for it at 320.49, so watch that. Enphase, after those layoffs, is just bleed. Complete disaster here. Q's only at 10 basis points, still got a red candle here. Breakout, obviously, on BT Sizzle. Look at that. Went all the way up to 82.7 there for a moment. Another bullish green candlestick coming through. Tesla, oh my gosh, we are now sitting on top of the 347.58 line. Only 7 basis points on the Qs. And now we are we are losing that 347.58 line. Let's see what direction it ends up going here. Palantir lost $60. Even though it's up, I'm just going to give it to it for losing 60.
Lost the lead.
Okay, trend continues to go down on the Qs. The Qs are now down to 4 basis points. 5 basis points now. Qs, are they going to find a bottom here? 5% down on Enphase. Some big money taken, profit taken, exiting happening over on Enphase. It's going to go into the 50s. It looks that way. And Tesla just comes back for more. And the Qs are coming back with a little green candle. But look at that, coming back for more on Tesla. It really wants that 347 to be a solid area for it. Not there yet. We'll see where it goes here. Not quite there yet. 11 basis points on the Qs now. A nice little recovery here. And you had some red candlesticks coming in through fast over there for a moment. But it looks like now you're trying. It's probably, honestly, Tesla is trying to lift it up over here. Look at that. There it goes. Tesla, this is like a moonshot, rocket shot over here. Crazy. Qs as well, doing quite well. Here it is. Almost at 9% now on Tesla. Pretty impressive. It keeps going. Nvidia is not part of the party today, although it is trying to bounce up. Hood was up like 8 or 9% there in the pre-market. Gave up a little bit. DJT gave up a little bit. It was that 35.5 line. It's always that 35 or 35.10 line. It's always that line. It always gets stuck there. That freaking line, man. It just always screws DJT. That little purple line. Well, I'm gonna make that one legendary. Remember, we use World of Warcraft rarity on these. But I see that line so freaking much, I just got to make it a legendary at this point. 350 on Tesla! I just saw it. Oh, and you get the order book coming through at 350. Only 6 basis points again on the Qs. A little bit of that downward pressure continuing on the Qs, while at the same time you've got that upward pressure that continues to move on Tesla. It's pretty impressive. You got to give it to it. And I remember when I put a Tesla flag outside my house because we were joking in 2022. We're like, they need more help than Ukraine. Oh, it was bad. It's, you know, the stock goes through some crazy lows and some crazy ups. It's pretty remarkable. That's the stock market for you. Anyway, still getting red candles over here on the Qs. Only about 4 basis points up. We're about to lose the lead on the Qs, frankly. 5.25% down on Enphase. Holy smokes! It's a poop show. What is going on Enphase? Then Coinbase topping out. Nvidia had a green candlestick, can't keep it up. It got it up for a second and just now it continues to go red. Unsure if this is profit taking. Is there uncertainty because of inflation this week? Unlikely. Stock market hasn't really cared about inflation lately. Qs are about to lose the lead as, frankly, what's this thing called? Nvidia keeps tanking down here. Tesla did just give up its 350. Qs are just 1 basis point positive. About to lose the lead here. Palantir also trending a more red. Woo! It's getting entertaining. Okay, let's look here. DJT halted on the upside for DJT. Meta. Who knows meta? Meta. Down about 1.87%. You really capped out on Meta at about, what, 605, something like that. Yeah, a little bit of top there on top. Oh, the Qs go red.
Lost the lead.
And the Qs are red. Enphase now down 6%. Somebody, oh my gosh, somebody tourniquet. What's happening over at Enphase? Oh my lord. Woo! The Qs are now down 9 basis points. All the way down to 513. Let's see here. Then you've got... Oh boy. So Apple's down 1 and a bit as well. Microsoft is red. Let's see here. Oh, Nvidia just keeps slipping. What's going on here? Can we get some green candles here? What the hell? RSI on a lot of those are like 85 on the 4-hour, 6-hour, 8-hour, and almost 70 plus. I'm taking profit. Looks like others too. I think a lot of people are probably, I mean, you're probably right. It's probably just a profit-taking move right now. Oh, Tesla just dropped. Oh, big red candlestick there on Tesla. Loses the 347 line. Next stop, 318, boys and girls. 318 is the next stop. We really want to build that 347 support. So best case here, you don't really need a big rally here. Just get above 347 and hold it. Just get there and hold it. Clinch it. For those of you in the stocks and psych course, I'm moving my limits up since that trade is doing exceptionally well right now. So if you got the alerts in the stocks and psych group, I just put a little note that I just moved the limits up a little bit. Obviously, because that trade's up a double right now. Sweet. Sweet-a-leet-a-leet. Okay. So what else is going on here? Key end phase, dude, 6.25%, bro. Holy crap-a-rappas. DJT still suspended. The Nvidia's trying to get a green candle here. Trying. And you're getting a green candle on Tesla there too after a slight correction. Green candle now on the Qs. It's the first green candle I've seen in a while. Oops. Didn't mean to mess up that volume there. All right, here we go. Looks like we're getting some greens. Boom, baby. That's a double in the bag. Okay, just closed position at the double. May re-enter. Oh, that's nice. Stops, boys and girls, stops. Gotta have the stop limits. Okay. I'm actually gonna reset up that trade because I kinda wanna do that again. Okay, so let's go with... That was a good one. Sexy. Alright, let's see if it happens again. Set that trade up again. Try to automate it as much as possible so I don't have to do much. You are getting a little bit of a recovery. Look at Hims. Holy smokes. Dude, Hims from like whatever where we were this morning to this. That's pretty impressive. I think we were up like 5% and he just popped up really nicely there. Wow. I actually, every time I go through the Hims fundamentals, I'm kind of like, man, it is actually pretty good, honestly. It's not that bad. So, like, it's got something going. It really does. 2 green candles, coming back to a red right here on the Qs. Still down 5.8 on end phase. Ouch. And Bitcoin coming back. Coming back on BTCs. Then I've got Tesla 740. Oh, hold on. Okay, here we go again. Oh my lordy. Oh, I'm back in. Okay, all right, I'm back in. I don't know if it'll hold. Okay, I can't lose money on the trade now. I shouldn't be able to lose money on the trade. Back in. May get stopped out fast. Already got a buffer. Anyway, okay. Okay, so what do we got over here? Nvidia. Here goes the rotation down again. Come on, puppy, come on. And then, okay, a little recovery on end phase. All right. You were down about 6.25. Now you're about 5.3. So bit of a recovery here. And what else we got? Dude, Hims 18%. Where are the calls, baby? Holy smokers! Damn, bro! Holy smokes! What's the market cap of this thing? Let's see here. Limit set, so it's profitable. Okay, lim above entry, so now profitable on that trade. Also, if it falls. Boom! Alright. Good. Woo! Woo! This is a good start to today. A good start to Veterans Day. All right, so what else we got here? BTC dropping a little bit. And then I've got NVIDIA up a little. What else over here? Tesla. Tesla. Come on, Tesla. You gotta get back to that line, bro. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. What's happening over here? Q's-a-doos? Okay. 20 basis points here. 5.5 here. NVIDIA's here. Fine. What else we got? Oh, DJT unlocked. Unfroze, if you will. Unfrozen. Then I've got... okay. Qs are really bobbing a lot over here. Alright, let's see what the Doomers are saying for a second here. Somebody says SMCI. See what's going on over there. Super Micro. Oh my lord, it down 11%. Holy smokes. Yeah, that's quite a bit. Okay, looks like I got a Q's Recuv. Okay. Stopped on that, so that one didn't make us... That one was not a double like the last one, but that's okay. Stopped and we'll re-enter with momentum. Setting buy stop higher to capture that momentum. Okay. We shall see what happens, my friends. Okay. Alright, so... What else? What else? Entertainment. That is what else. Entertainment. What's Elon's line? Entertainment guaranteed, but nothing else is guaranteed. Just entertainment. All right, let's see over here.
President-elect Trump weighs his options. Joining us with more is Bloomberg senior Washington correspondent Saleha Mohsen. And want to talk about Treasury. You are so steeped in this subject. But first, I want to talk about the one person that looks like he's going to trade, Robert Lighthizer, because he was on that Treasury list earlier on, now opens the door a little bit for new candidates. You are an expert in the dollar. What does Lighthizer, a trade, mean for Wall Street?
Lighthizer.
Well, one thing, actually, I want to correct the record there. Bloomberg did publish a story today that says that over the last couple of days, we've learned that between Election Day and the conclusion of our reporting over the past few days, Bob Lighthizer was not offered the USTR role. He was not offered the job to return to that role as he was during the first Trump administration. So Lighthizer could still be in the mix for Treasury.
I look at the betting markets, Saleha, and I pay extra close attention to them now. Scott Bessent, you want to buy that at 73 cents. And the next biggest is Howard Lutnick at 10 cents. So is this a pretty lopsided race? Do we kind of know that Scott Bessent is very likely to get the nod?
Well, that's the thing here. It's not a race, right? No one gets to vote on it. There is no polling on it.
One person
it's
votes.
just what people are reporting. One person votes, and that man has not weighed in. So we don't know whether Bessent is up and Lutnick is down, or Bessent is down and Paulson is up. We just don't know. It's going to come down to what the president-elect decides. We know that the list of potential Treasury secretaries will be narrowed down by the end of this week, and then we expect to have interviews and then hopefully an announcement.
A good reminder, of course, this comes down to Donald Trump, but boy, is it fun to speculate. And we know that he's getting advice. Of course, Bloomberg has reported that those close to him have suggested that, for example, Saleha, for Treasury, perhaps he should pick someone with Wall Street experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what President Trump did, or President-elect Trump did when he was president from 2017 to 2021. He had Stephen Mnuchin, who came with a Goldman Sachs pedigree. And so now, if you look at the list of secretaries that he may be considering this week, most of them have a Wall Street pedigree, and that is, you know, history tells us that that's what he's going to go for.
All right, Saleha, thanks so much for joining us. Bloomberg's Saleha Mohsen continuing to... I thought you were going to get some time to sleep, Saleha, frankly, after the election. But obviously, she's continuing to do the 24/7 reporting schedule. You look like you want to say something.
Yeah, it feels like this list got longer, not shorter, in the last couple of days.
Well, reading some of the reporting, of course, Howard Lutnick has been providing thousands and thousands of names. There's something like 4,000 roles they need to fill. So it is interesting, though, that some of the top slots, Treasury Secretary, the list is getting longer.
But to her most important point, it doesn't...
A couple things I'm noticing here. Tesla is back at its line. So you're not getting a lot of momentum off of that line right now. However, Hood is popping. So even though the Qs are falling and Tesla is back at its line, Hood is really just going nuts right now. And Nvidia kind of continuing its drop-in over here, along with Apple, which they are driving the Qs lower, but very, very slowly. It's a slow bleed on the Qs today. Okay. Then I've got Tesla. And, oh, look at that. Palantir went back to 60. It's pretty good. Meta's still down a couple percent. Supermicro. Oh, Supermicro might be trying to bounce over here. Somebody says financials today. Let's see what you got. Okay. Let's see what we got here. You've got, yeah, I mean, well, SoFi actually gave up a little bit on it. That's interesting. Yeah, you kind of dropped a bit there, eh? That's very interesting. Okay. What about Hims? Is Hims holding on? Yeah, Hims keeps cooking. Hims is cooking with some serious gas. Really impressive. Okay. Oh, Q's just had a large red candle followed by a nice green candle there. Recovery. These move very fast. Still bleeding, though, on a lot of them, huh? Meta, yeah, Meta's now down less than 2%. Or lower than 2%, I should say. And then... Okay. What's going on here? Tesla? Tesla, what are you doing? What are you doing, Tesla? Stop it. You know, you stop it. No, you stop it. Alright. Okay. Enphase is recovering. Getting a recovery on Enphase. And Bitcoin's, honestly, I mean, this should be moving coin up even more. Also kind of consolidating. You know, a lot of that initial morning momentum, chillaxing a little bit. Laxing all cool and all. Shooting some b-ball. Nvidia wants to keep leaking, though. It's leaking out. It's bleeding out. But you have to give it to Palantir. It lost 60. We gave it the loss of the lead. And it came back. Came back from the dead. Not bad. Nvidia, though. Ouchies, eh? Bit of a extra pop there. Yeah. Well, at least Tesla is consolidating close to the line. It'd be nice if it'd be on top of the line, but all right. Let's listen in here.
David Faber, live as always from Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks are building on record highs. S&P is up 0.2%. The Dow is really the leader today, up another 1%, higher than 44K. Goldman Sachs, Salesforce, Caterpillar, United Health, those are all the big contributors to the Dow move. Goldman adding 100 points to the Dow by itself. Financials in the lead today, as well as consumer discretionary, and that's a Tesla story. The Nasdaq's lagging. It's down 0.25%. Some weakness in the chip names. Nvidia's given some back. Broadcom, Apple, Meta, Amazon, they're all weaker. Tesla's helping to offset that with another strong gain post-election, but most of the other information technology names are a little bit weaker. Remember, the bond market is closed, which is why we're not showing you treasuries for this Veterans Day. We're 30 minutes here into the trading session. Here are some big movers we're watching. Tesla, shares coming off their best week since January of last year, now on pace for their best monthly performance of the year and adding to those gains pretty sharply this morning, up another 7%. Cigna and Humana headed in opposite directions after Cigna confirmed it will not pursue a possible combination with Humana. And then crypto-related stocks, the top of the market. Bitcoin hitting 80K for the first time this weekend. It's sharply above there, boosting names like Coinbase and MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy confirming it bought more Bitcoin. Just continues to buy more Bitcoin. Michael Saylor. As far as the overall market, though, guys, we continue to be in this state of optimism, I would say, over the results of the election combined with the Federal Reserve that has been cutting interest rates and continues to signal more rate cuts are on the way. And that's why you see groups like consumer names, financial, small caps, I would add in there as well, really tied to the health of the U.S. economy doing better. I was at this conference on Friday speaking with CEOs across industries, telecom, cyber, banking, and tech. It was overall a TMT conference about what the new outlook and the new prospects for an administration and Congress mean to their business. They were practically giddy. Listen to what I heard.
It was a good week in the markets, and it's on the back of a clear and a decisive result, which I think was really helped drive what was an anticipation of a pro-growth agenda.
We know roughly where U.S. policy will be. I think it is going to lean in favor of innovation. It's going to lean in favor of economic growth.
We look forward to working with this administration.
Tesla now losing that 347 again. Getting some more red candles over here.
Likely going to see some decisions which are possibly going to accelerate investment in AI and development of the country.
They have a pro-growth agenda, and they're really focused on how do we drive growth and innovation into the country. You know, that's good for the country, that's good for the markets, and that's good for us.
I mean, clearly the deregulatory piece is what a lot of these CEOs are anticipating and looking forward to, even in AI. You know, I was talking to Arvind Krishna, CEO of IBM there, about, so President-elect Trump has promised to roll back, for instance, the executive order that they did on AI. Not necessarily that was holding things back, but as a signal that it's a lighter touch regime when it comes to
still mostly consolidating on QQQ here.
Competing with China and letting our companies, you know, excel on that front. And I think that a lot of what you're seeing in the market has to do, yes, lower corporate taxes are good if we get that 15% rate, especially for companies that bring business back to America, but the regulatory regime and just how much it has been, I think, punishing and overzealous in the last administration is something we're seeing reflected in the market, really across sectors.
Punishing's a hard thing to say about a market at all-time high and unemployment at the lowest level in 50 years.
But that's why I say it surprised me that how much I hear that it's been holding back business. I mean, I'm sure you guys talk to CEOs that won't be named that are looking at.
Okay, Tesla's about to hit the low of the open, so watch that one closely. You lost 357 again. This is the third time it's been at roughly these low levels right here. We're watching to see which way it goes from there. See if it bounces from here. It's bounced twice before.
Thanks. Look at the move in the banks since the election on this view that lighter touch on Basel III regulations, the CFPB, you know, this hidden bank rule or hidden bank fee rule or late.
Larger candle there, just broke it to the downside.
Much more revenue from some of the banks if it gets reversed.
I think the banks is as much potential consolidation amongst the regional banks, and it's just a general expectation of an increase in business more than necessarily, I'm not dismissing it, the regulatory burden, so to speak, really being removed. I mean, a lot of that is the Fed. That's not necessarily going to change.
All in the mix, though. You know, I mean, the Fed faces political pressure as well when it comes to bank regulation. And there are also other regulatory agencies like the FDIC, the OCC,
there are plenty.
the
FDIC, you can go through all your different
make
acronyms.
life unpleasant for some of these companies.
Well, they do have a regulatory function, yes.
And last spring, or 2 springs ago, we were glad it was there.
No, I know. And that's going to be the trick is, you know, not going too far where we worry about what the impact on the consumer. Just one more chart I'll leave you with from Julian Emmanuel at Evercore ISI on the uncertainty factor that has been lifted around the election, which we talked a lot about and how that impacted business. But for small business in the past, and in particular, we're looking at small business, not necessarily big business.
Small rebound there in Tesla now. Take a look at this because Bitcoin's moving really well too. So, yeah, you've got Bitcoin's almost at 83. Obviously, like mega all-time highs, right? So not bad. Not bad at all. Q's just a slow consolidation. You can't really trade the Q's anymore, I feel like, at the moment. And then you've got Nvidia's trying to recover. So some of the pain of the day might be over. Now, I see that happen a lot where you get pain in the morning. Like, you know, right at the open, and then it goes away. And you end up green again on the Qs. It's crazy. Tesla, though, a little bit more of a struggle here. A little bit more. So we'll watch which way it's going here, but curious to see. I'm gonna watch it here for a sec. Okay. Yeah, kind of keeps going there. Q's still 33 basis points. Kind of boring. All right, let's go back over here.
In a way. And what I mean by that is crypto goes vertical, Tesla goes vertical, Goldman Sachs goes vertical. The Goldman Sachs chart is stunning at this point because it was already a really strong chart. People think deals everywhere. Now, you know, we're operating in the absence and the luxury of having the absence of details and knowing all the frictional differences. So I think if you just look on a tactical basis, you don't fight a trend like this. These are not head fake moves. This is real re-risking activity. Goldman Sachs saying last week was one of the biggest buys by long only accounts in history, but you wait for the moment when it starts to look overheated, when you have a little bit of a rethink moment based on some of the details coming into view.
You could see where this rally might run into trouble fundamentally. Trade policy, if we get more outlines of that and it looks more maybe restrictive for growth. Inflation is still sort of this worry that we don't really want to think about, but
it's interesting.
No, inflation's fine. Stop it, Sarah.
You know, and
fake news
that could, like tariffs that could
100%. And what I'm a little bit comforted by is that seems to be the way everyone is kind of. They're not allowing themselves to look past that. In other words, people are already saying higher rates and inflation would be the restraint on all of this. I don't think yields at these levels or the dollar at these levels are themselves really a hazard, right? They're kind of happening in the context of.
Q's just recovered a good chunk, honestly. That looks pretty good. You just got 10 basis points on the Qs. Nice green candle.
Really decelerated. So does that kind of turn on a dime, or do you get a little bit more of a forgiving attitude toward that if it continues? And what does it mean, all this mix mean for the Fed? I think those are questions for a little bit down the road after we have this period of, you know, let's make sure the market doesn't run away without
But
me.
so we get a CPI report this week.
Yeah.
If it's a little bit firmer, you don't think it matters? Fed's made it clear.
I don't think it matters a lot.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think we could be at a point where we're going to use any excuse to back off a little bit in the markets, and maybe that could serve as that excuse. But I really don't think it would have to be way out of line for it to be a huge market inflection point.
All right, Mike, thank you for the setup. Mike Santoli. Our next guest says a red wave politically could mean more market records ahead. Joining us to unpack his expectations for the market as we head into a new administration, CFRA Research Chief Investment Strategist Sam Stovall. Welcome, Sam. So how do you look at the re-rating of this market, and how much more can it go?
Enphase still down 4.6, but the Qs are recovering. So kind of like we were saying there, you know, the red for the day, on the Qs at least, might be over.
World War II, the average
might be call time, honestly.
13%. The split Congress is usually best for a Democratic president, but a red wave is best for Republicans. And it's good not just for large caps, but also the Russell 2000 has gained 14% on average during a red wave year since 1980. So in general, I would tend to say that investors have sort of ratcheted up their expectations. I think Michael Santoli just mentioned some interesting points about valuations. I think we do have to realize that we can't be going at these kind of directions for forever without some sort of digestion of gains.
Well,
right. I'm wondering what's happening to valuations right now. Russell, by the way, it's up another 1% today. It's outperforming. So where are?
That's an interesting way to phrase it. Digestion of gains. Q's now only down 14 basis points.
For the S&P 500 to its long-term forward PE ratio. So a bit pricey. This is where we were back in July of this summer when we went through our 8.5% pullback. The tech sector is not as expensive. It was at 78% premium to its long-term PE. Now it's just 65. But still, I think between now and the end of the year, I think investors are going to be riding this optimism. But I do think that we have to watch and make sure we just don't get too far ahead of our skis.
Sam, I think you said the Russell typically benefits from a red wave by an average of 14% or so. Is that,
I believe that,
from the time of the election, not from the inauguration of the incoming president? And by the way, I don't know what the Russell's up, but it's an awful lot in the last week or so. I mean, a lot of that gain may have already taken place.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, the numbers that I just mentioned were for, on average, a full calendar year with more than 80% frequency of advance. But just looking at election day to inauguration day, whether you look at large, mid, small cap stocks, their average gain is a little less, if you will, than what I think the market will be showing this time around. But the batting average, more than 80% frequency of advance. So in general, there is optimism between election day and inauguration day, mainly because of the anticipatory expectations.
So I guess when do the policies have to be delivered to change the fundamental backdrop of earnings expectations? Lower corporate tax rates, deregulations, and that wild card around trade as well.
Absolutely. I mean, right now we're seeing Q3 numbers that are twice what was expected as of the end of the quarter. Full 2024 numbers up about 8.5%, according to S&P Capital IQ consensus data. And both 2025 and 26 are likely to see 13% earnings growth. So I would tend to say we will need to see upward revisions to these forward estimates in order to justify these valuations, and also to see whether tariffs end up being more of a negotiating tactic than a fait accompli.
Got it, Sam. Thank you very much for joining us.
My
Appreciate
pleasure.
the outlook. Sam Stovall. As we head to break, here's our roadmap for the rest of the hour. Financials coming off a big post-election rally, but questions surrounding health care in a Trump presidency. We're going to discuss what's ahead for both of these sectors.
Plus, Bitcoin's at a new all-time.
Health care. All right, Tesla's trying to recover to some of its lines, and let's see what we have here. Tesla is 342, Supermicro's down 11, Apple down about 1.6, Meta down 173. You can see Tesla's going back for another test, another one. Coinbase 15%, still trying to get towards that 320 level. 4% on Enphase. Q's still down negative about 20 basis points. Watch this ceiling on Tesla. SoFi back to the grind. Nice, 9%. And, okay, getting rejected on the 200 SMA on Tesla. That seems boring. Get through VWAP so you could test 347 again. Test 347 again. I think you popped to like 348. Bitcoin 83,000. There it is. Boom. 83K has been taken. How's a firm doing? A firm. What firm? A firm. Wow. Oh, coming right up to my 52.48 line. I didn't even realize I had a line there, but it's coming right up to it. Let's see it test it. So let's watch these two on the lines, and then we're going to get over to the course member live, and we're going to do some fundies. But look at this. Still testing the 100, 200 here. Playing around with the 52.48 line. Could be an entry for a put on a firm if it gets rejected there. And Tesla. No. Okay. Still bobbing around. Bob around. Oh, Enphase is recovering. Nice slow and steady recovery there. Gotta give it that. Oh, here's the test moment. Here is the test. Dun, dun, dun. No, Tesla's still chilling. Do you think Black Friday and Cyber Monday will push affirmative action, a firm higher? That's funny how it corrected to affirmative action. Well, that's a typical expectation. I guess whether it happens is a big question. Oh, look at that. Right on the line. I got a little bit of eyes. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Affirm. But look at UPS's earnings call. They think it'll have a little bit of a tempered holiday season, but honestly, the way the stock market's moved, maybe it'll be better.
His former head of Immigration and Customs Enforcement to be his border czar. That's a position that would put him in charge of overseeing deportations. Trump also announced Elise Stefanik, a New York congresswoman, will be his ambassador to the United Nations, and they both join the official list now alongside Susie Wiles at Chief of Staff. One note I would say on Stefanik, that would create a vacancy in the House for Republicans, and it would be in New York, where Democrats last week flipped 3 seats. So depending on how narrow the final margin of victory is there for either party in the House, it would matter to have that vacancy in New York. As for names under consideration, we can also report that Robert Lighthizer, Trump's former trade representative, has been asked to oversee trade once again, but it's not clear whether that would be at USTR again or in a different position. Linda McMahon, a major Trump donor, being considered as Commerce Secretary, Scott Bessent at the top of the list for Treasury, and then just in the last hour, NBC reporting that Kash Patel could end up leading either the CIA or the FBI. One final note on
Adam's like, am I blocked? No.
And the 3 senators that are vying for majority leader all agreed that they would do it. That means essentially that Trump could appoint cabinet officials while Congress is out, and it would circumvent the entire vetting and approval process. Guys, back to you.
Megan, a lot of discussion this morning about how much of the House the Trump White House can dip into personnel-wise and still maintain what looks like will be a pretty narrow majority.
That's always a key discussion in these transition discussions, is just how much can the president pull from Congress. That's generally where they look to for officials. But in the House in particular, we don't know the final margins, but it's very likely to be just a few seats in either direction. And like I mentioned with Stefanik in New York, that's a state that even though the Republicans would try to push through, of course, a Republican and make sure it's a Republican that takes that seat, there would be a special election, and there's no guarantee there. So that's something that Trump, just like any president, wants to be very careful about.
And is the conversation the same within the Senate and even with governors? If some of these states, are they willing to have a special?
It varies by state. State by state, there's different laws, different rules as to what happens with a special election or whether a governor could appoint someone for any given period of time. But ultimately, the crux of it, no matter the rules in any state, is that there would be an open seat. And when Trump doesn't have that large of a governing majority, he wants to take advantage of the mandate that he thinks he's been given, that the voters really gave him last week. And so narrowing that in any direction isn't something he wants to do. He might have to do it here and there, but he'll try not to make it widespread.
Hey, Megan, I'm curious about Lighthizer, who was obviously instrumental in executing on so much of the trade policy in the first Trump administration.
Right.
Is there a willingness? Do you know? I don't know what the gossip is. Is he willing to take back that same USTR position, or does he want something perhaps new and different?
Lighthizer is an interesting character. I covered trade for the entire first Trump administration, covered Lighthizer very closely. My understanding is that he's stayed very close to the president in this 4 years that Trump has been out of office, but that he might be angling for a larger position, something like commerce or treasury. That's sort of the scuttlebutt that's out there, even maybe some sort of a White House position. But what we know so far is that Trump wants him to oversee trade. There are some duties for trade in the Commerce Department, in the Treasury Department. Some of it you can do from the White House, like Peter Navarro was meant to do in the first term. But there's no guarantee because statutorily, all of that authority lies with USTR. So does Lighthizer want to reprise that role? He's wanted to do this sort of thing, to go after China, impose tariffs, protect U.S. industry for his entire decades-long career. So I would think it's likely that he'll take whatever he's given.
Yeah, some of the China sourcing baskets definitely moved on that FT headline on Friday. Megan, thank you. I'm Megan Casella. Let's talk about the business impact of a second Trump White House, particularly around healthcare and financials. Thomas Gloser is here on set, former CEO of Thomson Reuters, as you probably know, current lead independent director at both Merck and Morgan Stanley. Thomas, good day.
All right. Oh, okay. All right, so what else is going on here? Affirm 14%. Did it break through? Let's see here. It did. It did. That is bullish. Look at that, would you? Dang. 52.48. It pit stopped for like 2 minutes. That's all you got. 2 minutes. And that was it. All right, so far 10%, starting to cap out a little bit over here. And where to next? Let's see here. So far TBD. Where are we trying to go? I don't have more lines for it at this point. At least nothing close. Gonna watch this. Just bullish direction overall. Affirm, SoFi, Apple, Supermicro. You're not actually getting that much bearishness anymore. It looks like the bearishness has occurred. And with Bitcoin skyrocketing, it's a little hard to continue to be bearish if you are, because things just aren't going down anymore. They're either Microsoft just ticked down. It looks like they're either consolidating or moving up since the first sort of 30 minutes of down there. Coming back to your moving averages here on Tesla. This is your 200 SMA on the 1 min, but you also have 5 min VWAP around here. Yeah. 5 min VWAP, 344. Okay. Oh, keeps going. Look at that. Pretty impressive. Oh, here he goes. Looks like it's going to try to honestly go back to the 347 line over here. Yeah, watch that 347 line. 347.58. That's the one we've been playing with all day long. Play with you. Go back home and play with your lines. I love the lines. You gotta trust the lines. Patience. Patience and the lines. Come on, Tesla. Back up to 3. It has not been able to hold this line. It did get to 350, obviously. 350.71 is where we got. And Affirm's now consolidating above our line. Supermicro is trying to recover. Bitcoin 83.6. It keeps going. You're now, what is that? Oh, it's just a solid uptrend. Okay, here we go. All right, this is important. Let's see what happens. Okay, Affirm's still above, bullish. Qs, where are the Qs? There we go. Let's pull the Qs up. Ah, coin is almost at 320. Yeah, look at that. My 320 line. That was in the Alpha report this morning, by the way. If you're not part of, and so is Tesla. If you're not part of the Alpha report, make sure to get it for free. Just meetkevin.com/alpha. Meetkevin.com/alpha. Okay, here we go. By the line. Pretty much getting rejected on it there. Not heavily though. Not a lot of big movement. Coin. Oh, green. Core Tesla. Core Tesla. Somebody says not getting the text. Yeah, I don't know what it is with MailChimp. I got the first day of text, but then it just didn't send them again to me. So if you don't get the text, just check your email. That'll be your backup option, is grab your email. Or today I did put the Alpha report on eHack. So eHack.com does have it. Struggling a little bit at that line. A wee bit of a struggle. So same thing with coin there. All right. Let's see what else here. Let's go listen in here for a moment.
Probably was a mistake in his op-ed about that very thing. But
yeah, I don't think in the end they don't move the elections that much anyway.
Well,
all
clearly.
you do is piss off your employees,
Exactly.
right? And they've lost 250,000 subscribers.
But I do think it is
Guapo.
people. The fact that editorial sits right with the news desk, it does confuse people. And if we do have a lack of trust in media, I mean, maybe they shouldn't be in the business of making opinions and endorsements on presidential candidates that they cover when people don't really understand that separation.
Right. I think in the old days, pre-digital,
Sarah's right about that.
Easier, right? You had the editorial page, right? The Journal had Paul Gigot, etc., and you knew what you were doing. These days, you're reading online. Who really carefully looks at it? And if you look at the Times, they do something called news analysis, which sits halfway between editorial and news, and no wonder people are confused.
It's true. I mean, the editorial goes back to the foundings of American media, but you're right. Online, there's no way to tell what page you're on necessarily. Tom, it's great to see you. Thanks for the great intelligence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Palantir, by the way, one of the tech names riding this rally, up 40% on the month, nearly 250% on the year, and hitting more all-time highs this morning. It is one of the best performing stocks in the market all year long. By the way, Bitcoin also on a tear, above 83,000 now for the first time ever. How much higher the crypto may go from here? We're going to discuss that in just a moment.
All the way, Sarah. How much higher? Yes. Alrighty then. Good. Q's still in that bullish direction right now from where you were earlier. You were down like 35 basis points for a while there, and now you're only down 14. So, you're not getting a lot of action in the market right now. You got Q's have been pretty much sideways consolidating here. Very slow movement here. Slow movement on the Qs. It's not very friendly for trading. You've got Coinbase stuck at a ceiling, Affirm stuck at a ceiling, Tesla stuck at a ceiling. Yeah, this is very relaxed, chill, not a lot of movement, not a lot of excitement. We had a lot more excitement earlier. Enphase is being Enphase. Hims, though, that one's just a rocket ship. And nobody knows rocket ships better than Elon. Alright. Alright. We gotta get to the course member live stream here. And I'm gonna go make another cup of coffee. And we'll go to the course member live stream. So as usual, if you haven't gotten the alpha report yet, just go to meetkevin.com/alpha. It's free. If for some reason you want a preview or you just had issues getting it today, I did just throw it over at ehack.com. Well, there wasn't terribly much news to cover. There were some trade ideas that we talked about in there. Yeah, I guess that probably pretty much does it, eh? Hims keeps going. Keeps going. 22%. Pretty impressive. Just got a little bit of a reject on Tesla. Let's see if it bounces on that 200 SMA there. Looks like it is. Can it hold it? Hold it. Somebody says Hims keeps going up. Yeah, I think so. Dude, Hims is just on fire today. 22.3 now. Really nice. Good job. And then only 11 basis points down on the Qs. So. All right. So there you have it. Oh my gosh, John Calvin. You're like the second person I saw say that. You realize I was quoting other people, right? Like, it's so stupid. Like, Kevin, you said the word Trump and dictator in the same sentence. You're not very smart. Are you an idiot for not realizing I was quoting other people? And it's so obvious if you listen to it in context. It's crazy. Go have a beer, bro.